Man, Dan, I just spent 1,300 on the Thor comic.
Well, no, don't worry. Like I say, these first few are, I think they're the type of ones that you want to hold.
I mean, these are the first ever digital Marvel comic NFTs. It's based on the first ever comics. Like they're pretty exciting as a product.
Yo, what's going on, my Veve OGs, my Omi homies, and everybody else on YouTube? It's your bromy, the Gale, back at it again with Significant Purchases, Episode 9. So, we finally have Nft Comics on the Veve app. We have been waiting for this for quite a while, and I believe that they are going under the radar, at least the significance of them. And in this video, well, I've been purchasing them, on the secondary market for quite cheap, well below retail. And in this video, I basically just want to go over the history of a few of these comics and show you guys a few reasons why I've decided to purchase a few more on the secondary market. And that's pretty much going to be the video. So without further ado, let's breeze into it. Alright, so we're back on Wikipedia. It's been a while since we've been here. Let's take a look at the one that started it all off. Marvel Comics issue number 1. In 1939, pulp magazine publisher Martin Goodman expanded into the newly emerging comic book field by buying content from comics packager Funnies Inc. On August 31st, 1939, his first effort, Marvel Comics issue number 1 from his company Timely Publications, was published. This featured the first appearances of writer-artist Carl Burgos' android superhero, the Human Torch, Paul Gustafson's costume detective, the Angel, and the first generally available appearance of Bill Everett's mutant anti-hero, Namor, the Submariner. That initial magazine quickly sold out 80,000 copies, prompting Goodman to produce a second printing, cover dated November 1939, and identical except for a black bar in the inside front cover indicia over the October date, and the November date added at the end. That sold separately 800,000 copies. With a hit on his hands, Goodman began assembling an in-house staff, hiring Funnies Inc. writer Joe Simon as editor. Simon brought along his collaborator, artist Jack Kirby, followed by artist Sid Shores. So it seems like Marvel Comics issue number 1 had about 4 reprints, one in 1990, one in 2009, one for the Golden Age Marvel Comics Omnibus, and again for the Marvel Masters Golden Age Marvel Comics Volume 1. So yeah, like I said, I've been buying these in the secondary market because this is the first ever Marvel comic that started in 1939. It's got quite a few first appearances, including the Human Torch and Namor the Submariner. I do believe the Submariner was the first hero that was able to fly. Like, even before Superman, he was the first hero to fly. So you can fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. And if you remember in the Wikipedia article, it said that there were basically 880,000 editions initially made, and then they had like 4 different reprints, meaning there's more comics made of this comic. But right here on Veve, there's 60,000 total editions. Now, I highly doubt that they will do a reprint or a remint, I guess that would be. So that means there's only going to be 60,000 of these ever in official NFT format produced by Marvel. And if that's the case, when there's millions of people on the Veve app, or even just 1 million people on the Veve app, these are going to be very scarce. Now, people like myself, I have 26 editions of, across all the variants, and there's other people like me with even more. So I think that this comic right here is a sleeper, and this is why I've been buying them in the secondary marketplace. What else can I say? So this is actually the first version of comics. Like they're gonna have upgrades and different features and stuff. So let's listen. Let's hear a few words from Dan from the latest AMA regarding comics.
Because I have like a lot of comics on Comixology and Kindle and stuff, and they have a feature where you can read the comic panel by panel, which kind of gives a really dynamic feel. Because it'll zoom in on the action and stuff like that. So is that something that may be coming too with our comic book reading experience?
Absolutely, that will be part of the Phase 2 comic rollout, which is basically getting underway now, and that's what we refer to as guided view. So yeah, at the bottom of the reading screen, rather than just being able to tap left or right to change page or zoom in, there'll be a couple of previous and next arrows, which will actually jump you through each of the predefined panels in the as part of the reading experience. Like I say, this really is phase 1. Most of the features that you see out there now that have become a bit more ubiquitous to comic reading will absolutely be coming into Veve Comics. It's a super popular comic. They might print 50,000 copies in the first run. If that sells out really quickly, they'll do a second print run. So there's no, unlike in the digital space, there's really no edition number per se. And that's why in the comic world, if you do manage to get a variant cover, that is something that's quite rare. But also the other difference in the physical world of comics is that, you might have there are no mint numbers, but it actually comes down to the grading of the comic, such as using systems like CGC, where you might see, for example, like a 9.4 or a 9.6, or if you're super lucky, a 9.8. And that basically just means the quality or the condition of that comic. So there's a few differences between the world of digital comics and the type that Veve offer, and the physical world, which make those comparisons a bit difficult to compare. There could be badges like when you reach X number of comics, or you have completed 80% of a series. That kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's best to consider that the Master Collector program will ultimately envelope everything that is within the Veve universe.
So after hearing those words from Dan, let's pop on over here to David Yu's Instagram and see what he has to say about our other first appearance comic on the Veve app. The Fantastic Four, issue number 1, 1961. First Fantastic Four. This is the most important Silver Age Marvel Superheroes comic book. It was with this very issue that Stan Lee united with Jack Kirby to create the Fantastic Four, and the Marvel Universe was born. It's where it all began. So with that being said, let's take a deeper look into the Fantastic Four, issue number 1. The Fantastic Four is the name of several comic book titles featuring the Team Fantastic Four, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and published by Marvel Comics, beginning with the original Fantastic Four comic book series, which debuted in 1961. As the first superhero team title produced by Marvel Comics, it formed a cornerstone of the company's 1960s rise from a small division of a publishing company to a pop culture conglomerate. The title would go on to showcase the talents of comics creators such as Roy Thomas, John Buscema, John Byrne, Steve Englehart, Walt Simonson, Tom DeFalco, Mark Waid, and Jonathan Hickman. The Fantastic Four is one of several Marvel titles originating in the Silver Age of comic books that was continuously published through 2015, before returning to monthly publication in 2018. Magazine and comic book publisher Martin Goodman, a publishing trend follower, aware of strong sales on Justice League of America, directed his comics editor, Stan Lee, to create a comic book series about a team of superheroes. According to Lee, writing in 1974, Martin mentioned that he had noticed one of the titles published by National Comics seemed to be selling better than most. It was a book called The Justice League of America, and it was composed of a team of superheroes. If the Justice League is selling, he spoke, why don't we put out a comic book that features a team of superheroes? 1961 to 1970s. The release of the Fantastic Four issue number 1 was an unexpected success. Lee had felt ready to leave the comics field at the time, but the positive response to Fantastic Four persuaded him to stay on. The title began to receive fan mail, and Lee started printing the letters in a letter column with issue number 3. With the third issue, Lee created the hyperbolic slogan, "The greatest comic magazine in the world." The following issue, the slogan was changed to "The world's greatest comic magazine," and became a fixture on the issue covers in the 1990s and on numerous covers in the 2000s. Issue number 4, May 1962, reintroduced Namor the Submariner, an aquatic anti-hero who was the star character of Marvel's earliest iteration, Timely Comics, during the late 1930s and 1940s period that historians and fans call the Golden Age of Comics. Issue number 5, July 1962, introduced the team's most frequent nemesis, Dr. Doom. These earliest issues were published bi-monthly, with issue number 16 in 1963, the cover title dropped its "the" and became simply Fantastic Four. Kirby left Marvel in mid-1970s. Cultural impact. The first issue of the Fantastic Four proved a success, igniting a new direction for superhero comics and soon influencing many other superhero comics. Readers grew fond of Ben's grumpiness, Johnny's tendency to annoy others, and Reed and Sue's spats. Stan Lee was surprised at the reaction to the first issue, leading him to stay in the comics field despite previous plans to leave. Comics historian Stephen Krinsky said that Lee's natural dialogue and flawed characters appealed to 1960s kids looking to get real. As of 2005, 150 million comics featuring the Fantastic Four had been sold. So yeah, man, there seems to be way more to the Fantastic Four issue number 1 that meets the eye. It's the first superhero team of Marvel, and yeah, they're very iconic. I remember watching them on TV as a child. I believe it was a Hanna-Barbera Productions or something like that. Johnny Storm used to be my favorite. But yeah, long story short, I've been scooping these up for $3.50 in the secondary market. And, that Wikipedia article pretty much justifies my reasoning a bit. It's very historic. And as you can see, there's only 60,000 editions here as well. And if Veve doesn't make any more of these first editions or first issues, then this is very scarce as well to be the first Marvel superhero team and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I mean, this is basically, like they said, the comic that started off the Marvel universe. This is the comic that kept Stan Lee into comics. Like we probably wouldn't have the Marvel we know today if it wasn't for the success of this comic book. So I don't know how many people realize this, or how many, the real comic fans out there. I don't know how crazy they're going to go after these once they find out about Veve, but this is the first NFT version, the official version of the Fantastic Four issue number 1, and with all that history behind it, I do believe it's worth me grabbing some for $3.50 in 2021. So with that being said, let's listen to a few more words from Dan from the latest AMA regarding comics.
Any collectible you have in the platform is from our side regarded as the same. So if you own 5 digital collectibles and 5 digital comics, then you own 10 collectibles. One thing I just wanted to be clear on there, Kay, was that right now we haven't got comics set up as sets for the time being, for the reasons that I alluded to earlier, the fact that there's just so low of the rare numbers, and really comics are there to be read. They are still 100% collectibles. There's just obviously they're just a slightly different product as the comic book side of the platform continues to evolve in a similar way to what you can do with your digital collectibles right now. How you can have on your collection page, you can choose what hashtags to show. Right now, the reason it's set up the way it is because, between now and the end of the year, we're not going to have a huge amount of comics. I mean, there's probably going to be a few rolling out each week, but as those series grow, in the back end of the application, we already have all of the data around series, or whether it's an artist. So we will you will have the ability to display all of your comics in series. Say, for example, if you have all of the Journey into Mysteries, they can be all grouped by series. And then emoji, as you say, there will be the ability to have custom groups as well. So as the comic book range expands and we get a lot more comics in there, and a much greater need to start to categorize them, is when we'll start to roll those features out. A lower mint seems cooler to me personally. I mean, if I got a low mint secret rare, then obviously that's a double whammy right there. And then on top of that, there's some other extra advantages, like you can read in AR. There's the pages never get destroyed or damaged. So I think people who read comics now will naturally start to buy these comics in addition to what they probably have physical collections. They have their Marvel Unlimited, their Comixology, and now they can have this new form of comic, which has, in my opinion, the best of both worlds.
Okay, so with that being said, I wanted to show you guys something. So I'm pretty active on Twitter, and I made a post sharing with my Twitter followers how quickly the Marvel issue number 1 was selling. So as you can see here, there's 4,900 comics in the secondary market for resale, and then 1 hour later there was 4,860 left in the market, so there was 40 gone from there. And then about another hour there was 4,670, so about 250 were sold from that point. Let's go to the app right now. Now there's 4,392 left in the secondary market. So people are buying these up and holding these. It went from 4,900 to 4,392 in a matter of like 8 hours, and that's just in one day. So I'm curious to see how low this goes and how quickly. So I mean, these are running out. I don't know. I doubt they'll sell out. I haven't seen that yet on the app, but people are buying these for sure, and they are 99 cents over retail currently. That's for the commons. So there you go with that information. So for the record, let's just see how many Fantastic Fours there are. There are currently 7,311 for sale in the market. Let's check out what the lowest is going for. So they have a floor of $4 currently when they reselled, or when they dropped for $7 in the blind box format during the drop. So yeah, $4 right now. I was scooping them up at $3.50, so they have risen 50 cents. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops as time goes on. And last but not least, for those who managed to make it this far into the video, let's check out my collection to see what I've been stacking up. So I have 20 Fantastic Four issue 1 commons. I do believe I am partial to, or I am favoring these issue number 1s over everything else right now. I do have a 3-digit, which is my score for this common right here, common group. And then I have a couple of uncommons for the Fantastic Four, also a 3-digit that I got during the drop. I'm proud of that one. And then I bought a 3,000 in the market just to have a duplicate, decent sized serial as well. And then I got 2 rares from the drop, which I'm happy about. High mints, but doesn't matter, they're rares. Journey into Mystery, I didn't talk much about that in this video. The significance with that is it's the first appearance of Loki, Odin, Heimdall, and Asgard, I believe. So I think I need more of those, but that's issue number 85 as opposed to issue number 1. So I'm prioritizing issue number 1s, like I said. But yeah, it's still important. I think Veve drops these comics for a reason. There's a reason they drop these first 3 first. So yeah, take note of that. And for the Marvel Comics issue number 1, I do have that complete set. My mom, shout out to my moms again, she scored the secret rare, having only purchased 2 comics during the drop, and she gave it to me. So yeah, I have that, so I figured I might as well complete the set since I got the secret rare. So I do have that set complete, and I think it's an awesome set to complete, being the Marvel Comics issue number 1. I bought this rare down here in the bottom right corner for $80. It's a pretty low mint rare, so I think that was a steal. And then I got about 18 of the commons. I would like to have some more, but we are going to have a new comic drop starting this Tuesday. So I think I'm going to save my money for that, actually, to add to my comic collection. I have 5 uncommons, so I'm happy about that too. There's 6,000 editions of the uncommons, so I think I have a little leverage there. And that's basically my current comic collection. I've been stacking up, and I think my bags are decent here. So yeah. So one last thing, we will be having a drop, more comics drop starting Tuesday of this week, and we're going to be having 2 more issue number 1s. But I wanted to mention this because the more comics that drop on the Veve app, I do believe the Marvel comic issue number 1 and the Fantastic Four issue number 1 are going to become more valuable and possibly more sought after, because they were the first to kick these off and they were the first on the Veve app. So the more comics that come, it's just gonna, it's gonna just make people want to collect the very first and so forth. It's a domino effect, and the opportunity is greatest right now to accumulate these very classic and inaugural NFT comics from Marvel. So yeah, so we're gonna have the New Mutants, House of X, and Marvels dropping this week. So yeah, I mean, that's gonna be interesting to see. So that's that, and that's the video, my friends. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. And if you learned something or was entertained, feel free to leave a like on the video to help me in the algorithms. So yeah, hopefully, basically I was just showing you why I'm stacking up, and if that happened to sway you or, lean your decision in one direction or whatever, it is what it is. But I was just sharing with you my reasons for buying these up. So yeah, with that being said, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm just sharing my thoughts and opinions here on these comics and on Veve. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt, because I am no expert and I could be wrong. And thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video, which will probably be my strategy video for these next 3 comic drops. So until then, peace out and hodl strong. Later.